everybody, welcome to the Hauma prologue. I'm Katharina, I'm the community intern, and I'm here with Senat, the CEO and team leader of our game.
Hi everybody. Yeah, I'm Senat. I'm the CEO of Senem Games.
And we will start the day.
You can't remember, they said. You have a concussion, they said. It's a trick of your mind, they said. But I do remember. I remember very well. I remember the murder from 2 years ago. I remember the club. I remember the surveillance of my house. I remember that weird call from the city councilman. I remember my dismissal from the police force. And yes, I remember the assault. The harsh surface of the asphalt when they threw me from my bike. The impact and the burned smell of my skin. And the grinning voice. That fucking voice.
Okay, I think she's dead.
But here I am. I'm back. When I think about this fucking place, I feel bile rising in my throat. But I'm back. And I will close this case. My case. I remember. Believe me. I've not forgotten what happened here 2 years ago. And what it did to me. I will find out about you scumbags. And I'll destroy this shit. So, you meet here tonight? Then I will join the party. Yes. I remember.
So, for clearance sake, I'm gonna explain the structure of the stream a bit. And so I'm gonna play this game and I'm gonna ask Senat some questions about the development and the game itself. And we see how far we will come. And Senat, one thing,
Sure thing.
I immediately noticed when I first played this game, what I really loved was the voice acting, the voice performance of the game. It's really strong, especially in the opening. Can you tell us a little bit about this? How was your process in choosing the right voice actors? And yes.
Yes, sure. So basically, we decided we wanted to go with voice acting, and it was also still the pandemic going on. So we decided we will do this remotely. So we didn't go the route of having one studio and bringing in the voice actors. So all the voice acting you can hear in the game, the voice actors, they have home recording booths, and they did it from their homes basically. And we did a casting call over Twitter and some other channels. And we received a lot of great submissions. That was really a hard process to select the voices. It took us several days, and they are all from different places in the US.
That's great. I think it turned out really amazing, and I'm really hyped to see what the rest of the game will sound like later on, because we are adding voice acting will be a later part of the game development process. I'm excited how this will turn out. So
it's quite important for the atmosphere of the game.
So right now we are at the club front, and we as we can see, it's a point-and-click adventure. If you don't already notice, like typical, we can click on some things, and yes. So let's talk to this nice man over here and see what he has to say.
I'm sorry. There's no entry into the club tonight. It's private circle.
So here we can see the different dialogue choices we have in the game, and as far as I know, we have like a bunch of dialogue riddles later on. Is this right, Zenat?
Yes.
So yeah, this will be a big part of Hauma, having different dialogue options. So right now we wanting to choose maybe play Nev?
What is this club?
What, you don't know? Have you been living under a rock? Everybody knows this place.
If everybody knows it, why can't I enter?
Not tonight, miss. Every 2 years there is a very special, private event.
Special? What makes it so special?
The guests tonight are unique. Unique people, unique dress code, unique gathering. Unlike you. Now piss off already!
Wow, that was really rude.
Not a nice bouncer.
Nah, not really. So
I'm sorry,
maybe
there's
we
no
play-
entry into the club tonight. It's private circle.
maybe threaten him will help. We will see.
Open up! This is the police!
Nice try. Where's your badge?
Distract him, threaten him more, tell him the truth. I don't know if the truth will get us far. So maybe try to distract him.
Can't find it right now. Quick, there's a danger at hand inside.
Nice try. Believe me, we have our own security inside for any problems. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a hard one to crack, this guy.
He is a professional.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what was the inspiration behind Hauma? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sure. So basically we decided at some point early on that we want to have it look like a comic book or graphic novel. And for this we have many inspirations. So we have some, like, there's a lot of Euro comics we like, and so also a little bit of manga thrown in the mix, basically. I see that currently now in the production, like for the full game, there's also some Batman and Catwoman stuff like being shown around. So it's quite exciting mix of inspirations. And the inspiration for this location, it's a real location in Munich, Germany. So this is basically a museum, but you can also visit and be there. And it has quite an interesting history. There's been crazy stuff happening there, which is why we chose this location.
Yeah, great. I also really love the windows with the location marked in it. So like outside the club, and that's where we a good callback to the comic theme, which I think is really nice. Also that it's based on real location in Munich, and yes, we will hear later more of this because the Hauma team is actually also located in Munich.
This reads, Private Circle. I remember these dresses. They look like Venetian costumes. Must be their dress code. What is this? A cult?
So,
What is this? A cult?
if this is the dress code for tonight, then we probably should look for a way to fit in the crowd, so we
Exactly.
so we can get in.
A reception area. Nobody here. I guess everybody's inside. Everything's covered in black. How elegant.
Covered in black. Yeah, I think there is maybe an opportunity for getting a disguise here.
Luckily, the doorman wasn't looking. I got the cloth.
about the art of the game. For the prologue, you worked with how many artists?
So for the prologue, basically the demo, we worked with one artist.
With one artist, yes.
Who did all of this, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's really nice.
Exactly, yeah. So basically he's also a guy locally here, and then the end of last year we went into production, and the art style was already defined, so we step up our game and we hired some very professional comic artists, and yeah, the art for the full game is coming out even nicer right now.
Yeah, there will be quite a style change, because the prologue has really great art, but it's a little more rough than the later project. Later on we will see a little bit work in progress of one of the later chapters.
Exactly, which I love, but
So, okay.
yeah, I was just to say I really love the prologue art style, but like you said, it will be more polished for the full game.
Yes. So let's now look at some of these interesting things we find outside here, because this is like we will hear what this is, because the game is telling us.
A statue. It's massive. It reads, "Mythological messengers of the gods. Traveling collection of sculptures." This is the House of Arts, a contemporary art museum. But also a luxurious nightclub. I guess all these statues must be part of their current exhibition. A little overbearing, but it fits the scene, I guess.
Yeah, the Museum of Arts in Munich, there's quite a lot of museums who have statues. That's at least that's how I always thought, that you have like many museums where there are like statues, and yeah, this especially is the Museum of Arts. Can you tell us a little bit about this location, or its like real life counterpart?
Yes, so this is like I said, this is in the city of Munich. It's a museum, and so there's several things going on with this building. So crazy stuff happened there. So it was one of the first buildings which was built in the German Nazi era. So it's kind of very pompous and has this kind of architecture, and it has a lot of underground tunnels, because the Nazis, they like to build tunnels, which many people also living in Munich don't know. So there will also be something with the tunnels. You will be able to go inside the tunnels in the full game. And so interestingly, there's also a very fancy nightclub in the same building, which is kind of strange. Yeah, and we take this nightclub as a location for.
Yeah, Munich really has some interesting tourist locations. Even though if we can't visit the tunnel, at least in the game we can. So if you're like walking through Munich, you can think about what you learned in Hauma, that maybe beneath your feet there are like great tunnels going anywhere through the city.
I think this is a statue of Minerva, goddess of warfare. This owl looks weird. This face is made out of a different material. I guess it's bronze. The bronze part doesn't seem very stable. I guess it was broken and then provisionally fixed.
So, well, let's check out our bike. If you have something useful in here.
My trusty toolbox.
The trusty toolbox.
You never know when you need to nail something. Or somebody.
So, let's get
I'll take my toolbox, my gloves, and the balaclava. They might be useful.
What exactly is a balaclava?
Well, it's like you put it on your head and all of your eyes look out.
Ah, I see. That's like a word I didn't hear often. but good to know.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not sure I knew before we made the game.
Yeah, you see, Hauma's also teaching me, but we are also like German speaking new English words, so there's also a learning opportunity for me.
Exactly.
This owl looks weird.
So, I think this owl now has to end.
Toolbox, this is Owlie. Owlie, meet my trusty toolbox.
Poor Ollie.
Thanks for your face, Owlie. Okay, I got the face application from the owl. It looks a little bit like a mask, and it's roughly the size of my head. I think this might come in handy.
So Judith doesn't
let's
care about
see.
destroying art.
I have my biking gloves and the balaclava. I have some black cloth and a face from an owl that looks a little bit like a Venetian mask. I think this should be enough for a believable outfit. Or should it?
Ah,
Or should it? Exactly. So now she has a makeshift outfit, which of course doesn't exactly look.
exactly
Looks
the
kind of
same.
provisional. Exactly. And maybe this is a good time to a little bit tell about Judith as a character. So basically, she was fired from the police force. She was ex police woman, but she's also a former German boxing champion. So as you can see, she doesn't think twice, and she's not scared to steal or destroy or just use force to reach her goal.
Yeah. Yeah, Judith is really like one of the main selling points of our game. I think she's really, really cool. I really like her attitude, and that she's also like a really great character. She has some problems we will learn later on in the game. She's struggling with like mental health, but she also has a goal in mind, and as we learned from the beginning, there was an incident that happened. And later on, of course, we will learn more about it, but her goal is to, like, not necessarily maybe take revenge, but at least find out what happened and then make a judgment based on that. Or is this right how I said it, Senat?
Exactly. So basically, this demo is also an exposition to some of the main characters, not all. Of course, Judith and two more. But we don't tell her whole story. It's kind of like a teaser of who she is. And in the full game, we will tell her whole story and how it's also related to her family's history and stuff like this. I think it will be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And also we are going to play Judith all the time. That's our main character, and through all the chapters we will be playing Judith, and we will, alongside her, we will find out what this weird cult is up to, and also what happened to Judith in her past.
What is this? A cult?
So, as we see, I think our outfit is pretty close. I think we could make it, hopefully. So, now, let's be inconspicuous this time.
Good evening.
Welcome. The gathering has already started. But you're still early enough.
Lucky me.
Come in.
So, we made it inside the club.
Yes.
Great. So, let's check out what we see here. Who are these, like, black shadows sitting on the bank?
Most members seem busy. I'd better not disturb their gathering too much.
And here we have like two people who look, and to be honest, this person looks the most important with his like white clothes. Maybe we check on him first.
Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view.
So, now, let's check on him.
Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view. Something's going on over there, but this guy is blocking my view I can't see what he's doing. I think he's fiddling with some control panel. I'd better not cause any trouble and let him do his stuff for the moment.
Okay, so we can't get there right now, but then let's talk to this person.
Hey there.
Do small talk or be flirty? I mean, I don't know him yet. Maybe just do small talk.
Party's okay, huh?
Are you kidding? It's our most important event. Don't you have any respect for the group?
That's not gonna work that way.
That didn't go well, did it?
Nah, didn't really
Hey
go well.
there.
Maybe we try. Maybe we are flirty. Let's try this.
I hope this will be worth it. How are you? Isn't this a great event, Mr.
You don't really believe these people here would tell you their real names, do you?
Oh, of course not. But it's obvious that you are Mr. Magnificent.
Uh-oh. You got me there, Ms. Marvelous.
Get him drunk. Playing experience. Rebuff him.
Tough choices. guys.
Yeah, really tough choices. Maybe try playing inexperienced. Maybe he's into this. We'll see.
I'm new to the party. It's my first time here.
A virgin? How
Oh god, he really
inspiring.
likes it.
Asshole. Kind of. So, can you tell me who everybody is?
Say, are you just trying to sound me out?
Me? No. Does it
Never.
look like it?
You look at least a little awkward.
Great. From Miss Marvelous to awkward in under a minute.
See you later.
Okay. Well, we got a tiny
Tough
bit
nut.
of
Tough nut to
yeah, everybody here is like a tough nut. Nobody wants to tell me anything.
Well, there's one person, he's very chatty, you just need to find him.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Let's go into the golden bar. So. Okay. I know starting small talk never have worked once, but this time I have a good feeling about it.
It's your only option, so.
Yeah.
Hello.
So, ask him about the mask, ask him about the gender, ask him about the drinks. Yeah, I want to ask him about the mask. Why is he not wearing one?
Hey, where's your mask, party pooper?
You must be new here. I've worked here for years. I'm the only one without a costume.
They must trust you very much then.
Well, I don't know much about all of this. When the ceremony begins, I need to go home anyway.
Yeah, I want to know more about the group. That's why I'm here. So,
It's my first time here. I really like this club.
Let me give you some advice. Don't ask too many questions about these people.
Why?
I really can't speak for this, but they have this important person they call their master. I've never seen him, but from what I've heard, I think he's a vampire.
Come on, you're joking.
That's just what I've heard.
okay. So, what about the drinks?
So, what's the drink of the evening?
It's called Hauma. And don't ask me details, I have no idea what it is.
But you're the barkeeper. How?
I don't mix it. They deliver it in huge canisters. I just pour it into glasses. I have no clue what it is, and honestly, I don't want to know.
That's pretty suspicious. I don't know if I would want to drink anything. Even the barkeeper doesn't know what is in there. So, but okay.
It's kind of a crazy party, huh?
Yeah, definitely. If the event is this special that even the barkeeper isn't allowed to know the recipe, maybe like the cola recipe, that there's like one special ingredient that makes it so unique. So
And I wonder what's up with the vampire thing. But
yeah, that's also. I hope.
then again, we made the barkeeper very chatty. I'm not sure if you can trust really everything he says.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, but at least I'm getting information, even if it's like maybe not 100% the correct one. So let's ask him more about the group. I think maybe he can give us some more information about it.
What else can you tell me about this group?
I told you I'm not allowed to speak, but there's a reason why they meet in this building. I know, it's crazy, but it's actually a contemporary art museum, you know? It was built by the Nazis, and it's probably the last remaining grand building from that era here in Munich. I think the members are all very right-wing, but you didn't hear that from me.
Honestly, that's hard to believe.
That's just what I've heard.
I think a Nazi cult is like the worst kind of cult. So, like, cults are pretty bad, but a Nazi cult is like something else. It's like combining some of the like worst groups of people into one really, really bad group.
Exactly.
So, okay, we talked about it, then let's ask him about the chandelier. I think we saw it in the club. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you
there is
seen that
one.
grand chandelier? Isn't it amazing?
It is. They bring it in here just for this occasion. I think it's in possession of the group.
What's so special about the chandelier?
Somebody told me it's over 600 years old. You know, some occult stuff, but it's always a mess when they install it. They use the club's stage motor, but it's nearly too heavy for them, and it always causes problems at first. But it seems to work out at the end, and by the next day, the chandelier has already disappeared. It's crazy.
Okay, now that. Okay, I think we got everything out of him. So we.
Thanks for the nice chit-chat.
That's my profession, miss.
It really is.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first nice person we met, so I'm pretty thankful for him talking to me even a little bit. So let's get our title drop. So order one Hauma, like how our game's called, and let's see what we get.
One Hauma, please.
One Hauma, coming up.
Tastes like very sweet milk. Weird. But I don't feel anything special.
So, does he have
Hi.
anything else to say?
Hello.
No, not right now.
Thanks for the nice chit-chat.
That's my profession, miss.
Keep on keeping the bar, barkeeper.
I'll do my best.
I think like the short cutscenes when you have like this comic panels, they are really cool because they're like shot in interesting ways, and it's like I think a more interesting way to play a cutscene if you have like this comic framed panels. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it too. Like I like the visuals, like how this game turned out. I'm really happy, and I hope we can have many of them in the main game. But we still have to see like what we'll manage.
Yeah, of course.
Scope-wise.
It's always how much you. I think in game development you always want to add more and more and more. And there's like this feature we could also do, but there's a time when you have to say, okay, stop. We have to like finish the project someday, and yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can tell you just quickly. This location, like inside the club. So this is not how the club looked like. We changed it a bit so it better fits our needs, basically, with the high ceiling and everything. But the bar, it's a real location. You can go there and have a drink. It's in the same building, basically.
Ah, that's pretty cool. That they are like you probably used like real photos, or you visited the places and made the art from there. I think that's pretty cool. I think especially if you are from Munich and you recognize like some of these buildings or some of the art, then you're like, yeah, cool. I have a connection to this place immediately. And if you're visited Munich once, that's
Sure.
yeah. Yeah, I also found the chandelier. It's up here, so we will see what Judith has to say to this chandelier.
The chandelier looks amazing. It must be very valuable.
Also, the white guy vanished, so let's check this out. So. That is, without a doubt, the best part of the game. I could do this all day. This is really... So, let's... it was up, so let's take it down.
Play.
Yeah, but yeah, really, that's my favorite part. Like getting the chandelier to go up and down, and it's like really satisfying. I don't know why.
I think the audio makes it.
Yeah, like
nice.
the clicking, and it's also not. It's also pretty fast, so you very responsive. So I think that works pretty well. So okay, good. We have some more informations. We got this chandelier down there. Maybe. Okay, that's where the guy went.
Went out for a smoke.
Yeah, went out for a smoke. He didn't even went really out for a smoke, or yeah, he went out for a smoke. It's outside. I sometimes have like a little thing with the perspective that I'm like, this is like the foyer, but it's like outside the club directly, and you can see the sky up here. So he's not smoking inside at least. So.
Right.
one saving grace.
2 people from inside have moved outside for a cigarette. Let's see. I'll try to eavesdrop carefully.
So, is it fixed now?
Yeah, it should be working.
Lucky you. Map would be furious if it didn't work tonight.
Hey, no worries, it will.
This voice. I know it.
But he's already pissed because several people stayed at home this time.
It's him.
Because of the incident?
That's the one who tried to kill me 2 years ago.
Partly. The councilman decided to stay away. You know, they can bribe the cops, but the press is still nosy. And it's election time soon. He can't afford any negative coverage. His snooty wife is there, though. You can smell her perfume a mile away.
Ugh, this abominable virgin coconut perfume.
Exactly, virgin coconut. She loves that shit. You know, I think the whole club smells like the Caribbean for a whole week after just 'cause of it. You know, if she wasn't such a VIP, I'd throw her ass out. And Lord knows I've sent people to the hospital for less.
You've beaten people to the hospital because they stink?
Yeah, of course. I've got a sensitive nose after all. And coconut is definitely a fruit from hell. It's only surpassed by the sweat of that sleazy guy she always talks to.
The company lawyer?
Lawyer. If he was a real lawyer, he would put himself in jail.
So, what they say about him...
Yeah, it's all true. Hookers, sex trafficking, cocaine, the whole deal.
That explains why I never saw him drink much, but he still seemed damn high.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up, but if the police would have asked for IDs at one of his parties, 2/3 of those girls would have either been minors or illegal. Hell, probably both.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but I tell you, if I caught this scumbag with my daughter, oh, he wouldn't survive it. And neither would I. You know, I'm just an aide, low level, but these people, they're above the law. Hell, they make the law. Believe me, as soon as you're in the county council, you'll see. And it's best to stay friends with them. As long as you're not a problem for them, they're not a problem for you. And it pays off. You'll see.
I can't believe it. Sex trafficking? Councilman? Drugs? Oh, what the fuck have I brought myself into?
Well, now I feel really, really disgusting having flirted with this guy. Ah.
So she has no idea what's going on. She's finding it out.
Yeah.
And basically this dialogue, it's kind of, you can just hear the gangsters chatting, it's a bit going voice like Pulp Fiction, Tarantino style.
Yeah,
just talking about burgers or something.
Yeah, they're also not really having like the kind of nice and clean crime empire where we are like talking about drugs, but like really the dark stuff you kind of even don't want to know about. So these are like really the bad guys, and I hope we will like obliterate this code that's like really yeah.
Well, Judith is disgusted in any case.
Yeah, of course, like the viewers as well, I would, the player, I would assume. And I guess we have to talk to those people, but if we have like sometime later in the game, if there's like a tragic accident, or not even tragic, just like, the society and people won't miss these people.
Hey there.
Okay, I guess.
I'm back. Isn't that magnificent?
I would say it's marvelous. My pleasure.
Yeah, yes, we can probably use like the knowledge we just get and...
Exactly, there's the dialogue options.
I heard you like parties with nice girls and drinks like Coke, because I like them too.
Now, where have you heard that, Ms. Marvelous?
Gotcha! Hooked! Let's say I like to know the taste of men I like. Especially the taste of blood when I punch them in their face.
I'm all ears.
Let's guarantee discretion first so he feels safe. For now.
I know that the group sets great value on discretion since the accident 2 years ago. And I can deliver that perfectly.
Indeed. That was a mess. If Map needs to fix another one of such events, I don't want to be near him.
I can organize, You just need to tell me where and when.
Since the accident, that's not as easy anymore. We need approval for other gatherings besides this one. I can arrange an application with the admission committee, but we will only be approved if Map signs the leisure time proposition himself. It's still a bureaucracy.
You talked about Map 2 times now.
That's our leader. The ones close to him call him Map. That's all I know.
I guess we'll need to talk to Map, then.
You know as well as I do that only one person tonight will be lucky enough to meet him personally.
Yes, and this one will be me. This Map must be the one responsible for all of this. I need to meet him, and tonight might be my only chance. I will come back to you with the necessary documents.
I can hardly wait. Will you be a part of that party, then?
Wait and see, Mr. Needy.
I will, Miss Tantalizing.
When my research is over, you'll be one of the first to go. Sicko.
Yeah. You won't feel bad if this guy gets a bullet in the head, really.
Exactly. But she's making progress.
Yeah, definitely. We are definitely making progress. we also see that Judith like has to do some really uncomfortable things to like get the information she wants. Yeah.
I really love how this is written, like with like thoughts and what she says. Like it's really.
Yeah, definitely.
I just love it.
Yeah, that you have like also the back and forth of what she's saying and what she's actually thinking, and yeah, that she like has to hold back to not punch this like really disgusting excuse for a human being in the face for like getting the information she wants, so she can solve this her case. So let's talk to this person we haven't talked to all night and see what she has to say.
Hi.
Yes?
Let's try playing acquaintance.
I think we've met before outside.
I highly doubt that. I would have remembered that terrible costume. Can't you afford
mean?
something elegant, Wallflower?
Shit. I'm not believable. I should be more careful with every step I take here.
I mean, we just took like an tablecloth, so I think what we got and what we made out of it, so we look pretty elegant for what we had to work with. So use your coconut knowledge. Yeah, we just heard from like the white clothed man that she really likes coconut, and let's see how we can use this to our advantage.
So, do you dislike the Hauma as much as I do? Why don't they serve coconut cocktails here instead, right?
Oh, you're so right, darling. I love coconut. It's the best.
So what's in the Hauma then?
They say it's a secret, but that doesn't improve the oversweet taste, honey. As far as I know, they put Indian hemp into it. Besides that bone, of course.
Bone?
Oh gosh, darling, didn't they tell you anything? One Hauma of this evening will have a small bone in it. They say it's a human bone. Whoever has it will be the chosen one.
The chosen one?
Oh yes, as soon as the person is selected, then the ceremony will start. And the chosen one will meet our leader.
Very interesting. Thanks. I didn't know that.
So, sound her out a little more.
So, you know that guy who's smoking outside?
You mean Charlie?
Charlie. So that's the name. We'll meet again, Charlie. Be sure of it.
Yeah, right, Charlie. Stay away from him, sweetheart. He's just doing the dirty work here. Nobody you should be around, believe me.
Well, thanks for the advice. I think there is some noise outside.
Nice, we are really making progress, I think. Got like a lot of information from these guys. I really like that we are like using the knowledge we got from like listening into people. So yeah, that's like a nice connection we have. So we had a noise from outside, so that's...
Exactly, something happened.
I just walked straight into the club again. I just forgot for a moment. Okay, now.
You're not the only person confused with the navigation.
Yeah, I think if there's a door, but it's alright. Yeah. I think they brought out the trash, probably.
Somebody from the club has put the trash bags here. They're full of food trash and empty bottles. And it stinks like hell. But I guess I have no choice. Seems they had venison for dinner. The bone is small, but it looks pretty similar to a human bone. Let's take it and hope that the others won't smell my little field trip.
I'm always such a big fan of like the adventure logic. If there's like trash and you're like looking at it and the main character's like, yeah, let's dig into this. It's great. I always really love this part of adventures.
It's not a bad idea to look to the trash, I guess.
Yeah, of course, definitely it brought us.
People you want to know more about.
So now we're going the right way. Ah! I just remembered that we didn't look into the trash. It just opened it. Oh no, we got it. Okay, everything alright.
Yeah, I think she took the bone here.
Yeah, the bone. Also, I'm pretty interested which poor human has had to let his life to be part of this drink. So, if it's like a human bone, then yeah. But how much I know about this cult, like already, which isn't much, they seem like people who would just like kill without like a minute of doubt, and then just put like a bone into a drink.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know where the bone is coming from. I don't think we thought a lot about this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a good question. Yeah.
I mean, probably one of the many victims you like had to kill for like keeping the cult like a secret or keeping their mouth shut. So it's very believable that they have like a bunch of corpses they had to move, and that they like picked one or something. Or maybe it isn't even a human bone. It's just like she said that's what like they are saying. Could also be an animal bone. So who really knows? So, let's see if we can, like, put the bone in there or something.
Okay, this is my chance. One Hauma, please.
One Hauma coming up.
Let's see. The Hauma is prepared with a nice bone from a deer. Let's take it and hit the dance floor, shall we?
Oh boy, I hope we don't have to take a sip from this. Really hope we can just like show it and that's enough, we don't have to drink it.
Let's try.
Okay, let's talk to her.
Hi.
Yes?
Toast.
Chin Chin?
À la voûte?
Cheers. What the?
You have it!
Usher!
The chosen one!
Prepare the ritual.
Wait. What ritual?
Oh no.
Venerable members, the bone has chosen. The chosen one will meet our outstanding master. However, as our immemorial scrolls demand, the chosen one must prove him or herself worthy.
Okay.
Chosen one, are you ready?
Yes?
So be it. As is the rule, failing will mean immediate disintegration.
That doesn't sound good.
Wait, what?
Let it begin. In order to meet our master, you have to answer these 4 questions.
Okay.
To show your knowledge, acceptance, and faithfulness about our group.
Okay, Judith. You can do this.
What is the name of our divine liquor?
Hauma. I think I got this one.
That one's easy, right?
Yeah, I think. Okay, let's go with Hauma.
Hauma?
Who would have thought this would turn into a
One
quiz? Huh?
crucial ingredient of this liquor.
We have Indian hemp, oriental wood, rough und goldmilk. I think that like the female cult member said something alongside of Indian hemp, so let's go with this.
Indian hemp.
How old is our sacred relic?
Oh god. Yeah, now really, now it's paying off if you like paid close attention to what everybody said. But that's like a barkeeper line, and I think it was over 600 years ago because it was one of the. There were not that many, I think, numbers in the dialogue. I think it was 600, so I will go with this.
Over 600 years.
Who is responsible for clearance of private get-togethers?
The party committee, the leisure committee, or the admission committee. Yeah, that's dialogue we had with the cult guy, the other one. Yeah, the party committee would be pretty funny, but I remember it was the admission committee. Also, I hope I remember right. So we will see.
The admission committee.
Good memory.
Venerable members, as you know, all 4 questions must have been answered correctly to be worthy. The Chosen One answered all questions correctly.
Yes.
You did very well.
Thank you.
You will now have the privilege to meet our outstanding master. He's already watching you. As our immemorial scrolls demand, the identity of the Chosen One will now be revealed.
Wait,
Oh, no.
You?
Time for self-defense.
Oh,
Yeah, he thought she is dead. Now what? She pulled her gun.
now it's coming together. That's pretty smart.
So, she escaped?
She can't go far. We'll catch her. You're laughing? She infiltrated us. I thought she was taken care of since the incident. But she infiltrated the Gathering Master.
I know.
Oh, she should have been dead a long time ago.
No,
What do you mean, no?
I need her alive. She's part of it. We need her. And we'll continue to follow her. Judith, you can run, but you cannot hide. The prophecy will be fulfilled soon. We will meet, Judith. We will meet.
Nice.
Cool ending.
Yeah.
I really love it every time I see it.
Yeah, it's really like a good cliffhanger. So
Yeah, it turns out kind of like this guy planned her to be there, right?
yeah, definitely. So let's I would say let's watch the credits, and then I have like maybe 1 or 3 more questions. Yeah, the voice actors are really, really amazing. Also everybody else who worked on the prologue really did a great job.
Me as the guy who started the project
Yeah.
really wants to succeed, and I'm really so happy. And the barkeeper again.
Yeah. So, now we're here with the apartment scene. That's like the next chapter of Hauma. We will show you the first riddle of the game, and there will be like the mind board like features that will be later in the game, which are right now not in the prologue. And yeah, I'm here again with Senat, and he will tell us a little bit about the apartment. So let's get it. And also, for your interest, it's also all work in progress. So we don't have voice acting here right now. It's we are still working on this part. So if you're like surprised that Judith won't talk in this one, or maybe something doesn't work like perfectly. So that's it's still work in progress.
Exactly, just like Kati said, this is totally work in progress. So there's a lot of placeholder. For example, the mindboard button, and everything is a lot of placeholders. The outlines, I just choose some color.
Yeah.
Should probably change and stuff like this. But I think it still works well enough that it's worth sharing. And maybe it's also interesting to see the rough state of the build.
Yeah, definitely. Right away sets the mood. You have like this really gloomy apartment from Judith, and I also really like the colors, the yellow and the blue and the contrast, and it has a really unique style.
For example, on the right-hand side, this is definitely placeholder. You can see the images there.
No, they're staying like this. This beautiful photograph. So let's look.
Judith and her brother.
Yeah. Let's look inside the mindboard, because this is like one of the unique features Hauma will have. And here we have this thought, my phone is lost. We also got one at the beginning. And if we have above it, we see my phone is lost. So our quest will be to find our phone. So let's see if we can find out where it is. The bag is broken in two. Maybe someone missed their sitting target. I will just read it out loud right now, because, like we said, we don't have voice acting right now. So we got another thought. Somebody broke my chair. Probably, I would think, everything hints that we broke this chair, probably. It looks like, with like the bottles and everything that we had, like maybe an extreme night of drug consummation. Oh, careful, broken glass. Looks like I had a party of 4 all by myself. Yeah, there she says it. So we received empty beer bottles. Okay. So what else do we have? I go all in and say this was today's dinner. You received a new item. So, and this is probably today's dinner. I'm about to get sick. Chief name. Yeah, that's his name. Isn't that just the face even mother would punch? Most upsetting view after waking up, or any time of day.
So the dialogue is also a placeholder. We're missing here
no.
A graphic close-up of the newspaper. But the idea is that her former boss from the police is featured in the newspaper, and she hates him because he fired her.
Yeah. I think I can piece it together now.
And and you can see it's all in the mindboard. It's all thoughts, except for the newspaper. This is a physical item, so you can have both basically. So, and with these 5 items, if you think about it and deduct from it, you can find out what happened to the phone. She will remember it.
Yeah. So we have like this this line where we can connect like thoughts and also items. And let's try empty beer bottles and today's dinner. Fried noodles, beer, and wheat. My usual dinner. The perfect combination. You received new items. So now we have like another sort, which is the usual dinner, beer, wheat, and noodles. So then we have today's newspaper, which made her apparently very angry. So, and we have a broken chair. Maybe there could be a connection. No, this doesn't make sense.
Not yet. One step is missing. Yeah.
One step is missing. Okay. What else do we have? We have the newspaper. I was just enjoying a smoke, and then I saw this face. I might have been upset about it. Okay. So
she remembers that she was looking at the paper while she was having dinner, probably.
Yeah.
I guess. That's what.
So we have now the new thought, which is I've been a bit upset. I think maybe now, in my acceptance, I might have been tossing things around. Okay, so we're like more and more getting clues. So he was tossing objects. Maybe that could be our phone. Let's see if I've been standing here tossing things. And my phone was one of them. From this angle, it's somewhere under the shelf. No fight at all. Well, that's depressing. So, we have... So, now we have... This is like also, as you can see, work in progress. The poster is awesome as it is. I wouldn't change a thing, but it probably will get a little bit more refined later on.
This reminds me, I already have an updated background. Seems I forgot to put it in here. We already have a real boxer image.
Yeah, you can also, if you like follow us on our social media, we are like constantly posting new videos and new screenshots if you like updating or like getting new material, and we are constantly keeping you up to date. Or if you have any questions or anything, just ask us on social media. Yeah. So we found out it's probably under the shelf, which is here. I think it came from the door. So. Now you saw like a short riddle, like how the mindboard works. So we had like the quest find the phone, and we deducted through the mindboard where it is, and like we said, the rest is still work in progress. But I hope you like this little outlook for the apartment scene. Zana, is there anything you would like to add to this apartment scene? Any thoughts about it? Anything you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So basically, this first puzzle where she's finding her phone, it's kind of like a really small tutorial where you get used to the mindboard. So we have to still polish it a bit, to make it easier maybe to understand. But apart from that. Yeah, that is where Judith lives, and it's kind of messy, maybe a little bit like she is, but you will revisit this scene throughout the game. There's more stuff happening there.
There's also really many details in the scenes which I really like. You really have a feel for this place, so you can if you can find like really little things like here the beer bottles, and later on the photos that are gonna be here. Also here's like here how's it called, boxing bag, I guess. Not certain about the English word, but yeah, it really shows Judith's character, and also her how she's living right now. Yes, I think it looks pretty great, and it tells us much about Judith, our main character, without having any dialogue, just like looking at the scenes. Okay.
Yeah.
Then,
yeah, I mean the visuals will still be polished, so we will hopefully have some VFX here, a little bit of something moving. So, but the mood is already there, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, again, that's all work in progress. We are still working on it, so we just wanted you to see like a little outlook what will be next. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you, Senat. Next up.
So, meet Monica, our comic artist, and Niels, our illustrator for Hauma.
Hi.
Monica, hi.
Hi.
I would love Monica to start with a little introduction.
Okay, so I am Monika, and I am a comic artist from Poland, from Warsaw in particular. And I am an artist by the day, and for the night I am still an artist, but I work on my own projects, like my sci-fi action comic called Exist, and romance supernatural comic called Weird Wild West. And I think it's obvious that I'm very inspired by manga style in general. Because when I was a kid, I was watching many shows like Magic Knight Rayearth, Slayers, or Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm in love with the Akira or Battle Angel Alita style. And I'm also inspired in general by the European comic, especially about the Wild West. So that's me.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Niels, what about you?
Yeah, hi, I'm Niels and I'm from Germany, Hersching. This is nearby Munich. And yeah, I'm an illustrator and normally storyboard artist. And that's what why I would say that my inspiration is all over the place, because for storyboarding and in animation business, you have to be able to adapt many styles. And I have yeah, a lot of inspiration coming from my comic selection. This is surrounding me here in my office, and it's yeah. I can't even tell what it's all. It's also manga, but a lot of French stuff as well, and Belgian stuff, and also yeah, comic noir and yeah, as I said, all over the place.
Comic noir is a good point. Thank you so much for letting us know a bit more about you and Monica. And as you mentioned noir, which tricks are you using that it looks comic-like or noir in Hauma?
If you need a simple and funny answer, is to put solid black everywhere and leave some parts white. But I'm not a specialist on the noir comic, but I think it's more about storytelling than drawing, actually, because you have to know what you need to show and what needs to be exaggerated. But it's I don't know. I don't know. If I can tell you more about it, because I'm basically manga artist. But it's all about the contrast, in my opinion. Just to summarize the noir comic.
What would you say, Niels?
I would say exactly that. The same. It's comic noir. It's not. Of course, it's called like that because it's a lot of black in there, but it's also the mood that the story is telling, and you can use all the black shade and all the yeah, light situations to guide the in this case the player or the reader through the comic. And our workflow is mainly there's no really a great trick or something, a special trick. Our workflow is to have a great artist, Monica. She gives me a great artwork with very detailed line art, and I just go over it and paint it on black. So, that's the whole secret.
Okay, cool, amazing. So we kind of summarized it a little bit that we have a comic-like noir style, but if we dive a bit deeper into the art style, how else would you describe our art style and the colors? Monica.
The art style, as I said with the introduction, is a bit more European manga. I would say this is the best description of the general style. So this is about the line art. So you can tell more about the colors.
Yeah, with the colors, we decided not to go too natural with it, but I have a. In fact, it is a bit of the color palette is a bit of 80s style
Synthwave.
palette. So it's a very lot of purple and turquoise and of course a bit pink and stuff. Yeah, we have our inspirations mainly in this color palette. And another thing we use a lot is a lot of texturing and to make it a bit look it make it look a bit. Yeah, one thing about the colors is that it's really with high contrast. So we have a lot of high saturated colors there. So it's really jump in your eyes and hopefully will catch you to get you into the game.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Niels. Monica, I would want to know, how does your workflow process work? Who draws what?
I am responsible for drawing characters and for designing them, and I am line arting the backgrounds, and they are based on Niels' concepts. So I am the main line writer, if there is such a word, I don't know.
We invented.
Okay. So, but all of the characters are drawn and designed by me, apart from the Judith, because Judith was designed by the other artist, but I'm mostly the character artist.
So Niels is responsible for?
Yeah, I'm. Monica is, as you see in the credits of the game later on, she's the main artist, and I'm assisting her with doing the concepts of mainly the backgrounds, not all of them, but most of them. And then afterwards, after I got the line art she did from the concepts, I will or I do the coloring of all the backgrounds. And of course, there's such little things like UI and some icons and items on all the stuff you can click on. You don't really recognize during the game because you just use it. But this has to be designed at some point as well, and I'm on it. Yeah.
As you mentioned the coloring, Niels, how do you handle the moods in our game?
How do I handle them? It's a difficult question.
You can also rephrase the question.
You want to rephrase, exactly.
I can cut that. Like, for example, you are responsible for the moods, right? With the coloring. Coloring plays an important role when expressing moods in a game. How do you approach that? Doesn't make it better.
Actually, no. Actually, it's. I think you have to a bit jump into the game as well yourself. So it's a lot of when I draw or when I do the coloring, I listen to some music, for example, and as the whole story is a bit dark and let's say the main actor Judith is not that a happy person or something. I think if you really, so I use some so my background as an animation artist or storyboard artist for that, because in the movies you have that as well. You always, when you draw, you always think a bit like the actor or the scene you are just working on. So
try to be in their shoes and empathize.
Yeah, you really have to go into it a bit, and of course the the style that we use, a lot of black or dark colors will help, of course, to create some mood. As I say always, if you want some mood in your drawing, just go with black. Black is always something that you can really use to point things out and to guide the view of the recipient.
Yeah. Do you have a little example for us where you can show us
Sure.
How you make a scene look completely different?
So these are some. I can share my screen. A second. This is something I already. This is the apartment of Judith. Can you see it now?
Yep, we see it.
Great. So, and on this side here, you see it's not that much layers, but when I just the main layer or the important layer for the mood, as we talked about, it is this one. So this is all light and shadow, and if we have just the colors and some texturing and great line art, as I said already, this is fine, but it's not enough, and it's all about lighting and shadow and light. And if you put the
oh yeah, big difference.
Yeah, it's all about the the darkness and the lightness.
Very interesting. Thank you for showing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's the other one, and same here. Important layer is this one.
Oh yeah, that makes a huge difference.
Or when it's away, then it's all it's all like the same. Even if I use some orange or some highlight colors, let's say, to point out certain things. But with the light, you can guide the view much better
and influence the mood. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Niels.
You're welcome.
Monica, how do you approach the moods in your drawing, in your sketches, and your ideas?
I just drawing some lines and the things happens.
Things happen. You go by the flow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's as Niels said, it's really difficult to describe the process because this is the thing that I do, like walking. So
that's your skill, yeah.
I don't know how to describe walking. I raise
comes
my
naturally. I get it.
But so it's mostly about the inspirations. Like a lot of time we mention the Landog as a reference or noir comic as a reference. So I just look at the images and I get inspired by just looking at them because
you feel it.
This is how it works.
Yep.
Actually, so I think I can say our main inspiration, mine and Niels. This is a book called Framed Ink. It's a really important guidebook about storytelling and drawing. It's about how to tell a great story by using just some lines or about just using some black, solid black. So with this forces combined, the art happens. So it's really hard to matter about each step.
Makes total sense.
It's not just that. It's of course you need to have the inspiration and stuff, but in fact after all it's the experience the artist brings with to the projects, I think. And of course this is coming from much inspirationals that surrounds us as comics or art books or movies or I don't know what, but how you approach it to the for the game, this is this happens inside you, and it's really hard to describe, because if you could describe it, it would be easy to do, and it's not really easy to do. So it's just it sounds like, so we just do it, we just draw lines, and then it's there. But I think it's a long process in front of it, not regarding just only this project, but I studied illustrations for years and had other projects in before, and so the experience grow, and at some point you are at the point that you can say, okay, I just do it, and it looks kind of cool, hopefully, and so yeah.
I get that. Niels, your camera is off, by the way.
Oh, great.
But that's okay. We have a podcast. Yeah, also, Monica, you mentioned earlier that
my internet is a bit lame, and
no
I
problem.
think I get thrown out with video.
If you switch the scenes also, no? Share something. Monica, you mentioned that Judith, the character concept, got done by someone else. How did that transform now that you took over?
My job was to redraw the Judith, redraw the character, but with keeping everything the same. But I had to draw her in my style. But my part was about the body language, because we have some situations in the demo, but I had to understand the character, and when I am drawing sketches or cutscenes, when I put her in different situations, I really care about the body language. So I think it's the most in my part about the character development. Every character portrait is different, and we had a lot of discussions how she should act when she's friendly, or if she has a closed pose or she's more open, and what kind of poses suit her. And that was the nice part, because it was about understanding the character, about something maybe about psychology or something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice to work on someone else's design, because it was done completely different than I am used to, and it was a bit harder work, but I like this work, this part of work.
That's interesting. So you could approach it from another perspective and get inspired. I'm gonna start with you, Monica. This is my last question. You're gonna get the question first, and then Niels. So, what was rather easy for you while working on Hauma so far, and what has been a challenge?
It's always like the most challenging part is drawing Judith's hair. I am physically unable to draw braids and even to braid my own hair. I don't know why.
I feel that.
I don't know why, but I try so hard. But yes, this is really challenging. But I know it sounds funny, but it is difficult to me. But I do my best. Of course, apart from that, one of the most difficult part was avoiding the same face syndrome. I put a lot of effort to draw different and diverse characters. Of course, what helps a lot is our discussions, especially about this tent scene or something. We talk about the same face syndrome. So the best thing to avoid them is to ask people what they think about it. So that was difficult, and drawing the places that I have never been. It's not that difficult because I have a lot of photo references, but I can't see everything on my own. For example, not only the places, but once I asked about the police uniform, and couldn't see if there are some buttons on the sleeves, so I had to ask. I know it's just a detail, but it's all about the details. So, so I got a video with the police chief interview, and I saw that there's no buttons, or I don't remember now, but I was able to see the sleeve. But this is important, believe me.
Yeah. It will be funny if you come to Munich then and see all the places that you've been drawing and working on.
Yes, that's true, and maybe I should ask the police officers to show me their
Show me
sleeves or
show me your
something.
sleeve.
So that was the challenging part. What was easy, I really like to work with the perspective lines and to construct everything. So I know that it looks a bit complicated, and everyone told me, Monica, don't spend too much time on it. And no, I have to construct every line. I have to construct every window because I really enjoy the process. And maybe it's weird, but I really like it. So
It's not weird, it's amazing, and we'll see it in the end product.
And thanks to this game, I found out that I like drawing interiors, so maybe I should be an interior designer or something. But it's still about the constructing. So yes, the thing that I didn't mention that I'm graduated in engineering, so I am mechanical engineer. So
oh wow, okay.
maybe that's why I enjoy
constructing. Yeah, makes sense.
Yes, now it makes sense.
Now it makes all sense. We can put the dots together.
Yeah, so that's all.
Oh, Niels, what about you? What was one of the challenges that you had to face?
The greatest challenge is always to finish an image. For me, because as I do the finalizing the stuff, I get the line art from Monica and then do the coloring. And at some point, after I don't know 2 or 3 days on one background, it would be too long already. No, after a few hours, you worked on it, you have to say, okay, now it's done. But you could do more and more and more. Could do it
Perfectionist.
better and cooler and nicer.
It can always be better, right? As an artist, you're never happy.
That's the thing.
It's a
That's
disease.
most challenging for me.
Disease for more.
And yeah, the rest is just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And what was one of the easier things for you?
Easiest, I can't really say, but most fun thing is funny that Monica said the same. It's about the sketching and come up with the ideas. For me, as I'm coming from Munich or nearby Munich, I lived in Munich once, so I know all the places or most of the places. We are not all of them. Some were new to me, and I never heard of them. And it's funny to or interesting to adapt them as a drawing on comic style, or sometimes we can't use them one to one, so we have to adapt it a bit to our needs in the game. So it's not just taking a photo and then draw lines over it. So it's that's why I have to draw the concepts and think stuff over, and maybe rearrange stuff. But that's interesting to make it work. So getting the needs from the game designers, what they had, what they come up with, some ideas for the place, what they need for gameplay assets, and then to try to fit it all into one image.
I understand. Thank you so much, Niels and Monica, for that insight into your art and your workflow and your background. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to add? No?
I have to go on working now.
Okay, we have to continue. Hit the deadlines. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. That was nice.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yeah.
So today we are here with Aydin, that's our narrative director, and let's introduce yourself to the people watching the Hauma stream, please.
So, hi everyone. I'm Aydin. Aydin Ojad is my surname. I'm the narrative director by Hauma game since I think 1.5 year, and before I worked as freelancer by Hauma game. So that's it. I am not a gamer, so I used to study theater and performance study here in Munich, in Germany, but I wrote short stories before I came to Germany in Iran, and then I worked as a theater dramaturge and then a scriptwriter in film branch. So one day, Senat called me and asked me if we can go to a cafe and sit and talk. And yeah, he told me a story, and I just thought father and thought loud and told him one another totally different story. And he told me, "Okay, that's great. Let's do a game from it." So we started with Hauma.
Okay.
It was really like a coffee and cigarette talk.
Yeah, that's great. You're bringing a really big portfolio to the game on narrative experiences. So what exactly are you doing for Hauma?
For Hauma, I wrote the main story. So it's like a text. You can start to read it, and it's like a short story with a lot of background details. But the main story, which is playable, is totally different. So I would say, if I think about Hauma, I would say we have two different stories. We have one playable story and one another story, which we can inform us about. And shall I tell about the story?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Summarize the plot for us in
So the plot of the main story is about the former police officer Judith in Munich, which got suspended 2 years ago as she investigated about the murder case in Munich. But the reasons are not clear. There are some. She's not that convinced why she got suspended, and she's also former German box champion. Now she's at home. She doesn't have anything to do. She's depressed, and suddenly she gets a letter, and in this letter there are some very strange things which she has to find out what is it about. And there is one contact to the grandfather, who was also a detective by Munich police, but back to the Second World War. And then she start from her own initiative to investigate about a completely new case, and step by step she finds out there are some relations with the last case where she investigated 2 years ago. And what we basically do by the game is that we go from one location to another location and investigate and inform us about these historical locations. And behind the playable story, we learn a lot about the history of the Munich, and about actually about little bit about the history of the migration and globalization, when I want to take this perspective to look on the game. So I can tell a lot about the locations, about the city of Munich, about the backstory, because the backstory is very long and it takes place in very different countries and cultures. And but if I don't want to give you a lot of hints and the spoilers, because otherwise not that interesting to play.
Yeah, I think it definitely sounds exciting, and if you want the whole story, you should definitely play the game.
Yeah.
And what you just mentioned leads me to my next question. Like the city of Munich, everything plays in the city of Munich, and what are the things that fascinate you about Munich? So why Munich in like 2 words?
I think the first reason is a very subjective reason. I live in Munich since 12 years, and it's the only German city I live. So I know the city very well. The other thing is, when we talk about Germany, think about Germany, we think automatically about Berlin, about Second World War, and then maybe we think about football and FC Bayern. And then they come many other details, but nobody thinks automatically about Munich. Munich was, but in the turn from the 19th century to the 20th century, a very important cultural city in Munich, in Germany, and it is still a important city. They are different, very different options or possibilities in Munich. So and our game is a historical game and is a mixture of documentary and fiction, and we refer always to the backstory, and the backstory of Munich in the 20th century is important for actually the world history, because the let's say the first the first steps of National Socialism in Germany took place in this city. So Hitler and the other National Socialists, they called this city the Hauptstadt der Bewegung, so the capital city of the movement in 20th century. And it makes this city interesting. Still, when we now go through the city and take a walk, we walk from one historical monumental building to the other one, from one place to the other one, and behind all of these buildings there is a backstory. No? Therefore, the locations are also important in the game, and through the locations we can learn a lot, I think, about the history of Munich in the last century. And I think we get confronted with some questions also. Why it was like that? So one of our characters, for example, which we do not play or do not see, but we hear about him. He was a Jew man in alcohol or in beer industry, and he flew in 30s after last century from Germany to Switzerland and then in the United States. And before the National Socialism, he bought up his imperium, beer imperium. And then I think as a gamer, you can ask yourself, how is it a very fast shift from having freedom but build up your imperium, and to be confronted with such a repression that you have to leave your country like that. No? We do not have an answer, but we ask the question.
Yeah, I think Munich is definitely a history-rich city, and that we explore these aspects in the game is one of the fascinating aspects we definitely have going for Hauma. You just mentioned locations. Can you give us an example for like one of the location we can visit in Hauma, and with like a little historical context?
We choose together, Senad and I, different locations, and we discuss and talk about them. Important locations in our game are Oktoberfest is also an event. It's not a location; it's an event, because I think it's very important for Munich. Everyone in the world heard once in the life the name of Oktoberfest, and it's a very important economical. It plays a very important economical factor nowadays in Munich. The other place is Königsplatz. This place is also very important because the National Socialists they placed the center of the Partei NSDAP in Königsplatz, and they had their own reasons, historical reasons. The other place is Haus der Kunst, House of Art in Munich. This is also a Nazi National Socialist house built in back to between 1934 to 1937, and the first great German art exhibition took place in the House of Kunst, House of Art, as an opening event. And parallel to this event was other other exhibition very close to House der Kunst, the exhibition of degenerate art exhibition, which the people know in the world when they are little bit history affine. And the other place, by the way, the House of Art was built up by the first German Nazi architect, Ludwig Trost, and he was he was a good friend of Hitler. And the other place, there are many. The Temple of Honors in Munich also. There is one another place, and we have the police station, which is also a historical building, and very close to the police station is the main landmark of the city of Munich. It's the Frauenkirche, and it's a very beautiful historical building from 15th century. So I think you can imagine we do like a audio walk in the city when we play the game.
Yeah, I think it's great that our locations are really intertwined with the real history that happened there. So if you're playing the game, you will have like the one layer of the story and the detective story, but there's also like a second layer with the history that inhabits this place that you will also get glimpses of, and also intervened with the plot, which we won't spoil. Yeah, thank you. I have one last question concerning the characters. So we have like a very diverse cast of characters from like different cultures and all kinds of characters. So how did you come up with those characters? What was your process, and which character do you like the most?
The characters, to develop characters, I had to make decisions. Some of these decisions are pragmatical decisions, because you have a problem in your story and you need a new character, or you think, okay, I think this information is very important and I want to have this information in my game. But the first steps for me to think about the characters, they were very subjective steps. No? And I didn't know, back to that time, I didn't know where I want to go. It was like a procedure. And Kerstin and Basti, and Senad also, they helped me a lot to develop the story. So actually, we are co-authors. We did it together somehow. The main characters are Judith. I talked about her. It's a former box champion and police officer. There is a contrahand to Judith. His name is Charlie. He's my favorite one, because he's very ambivalent. He oscillates between good and bad, and you do not know why. He's he's not black and white. Yeah? And they are two main characters. We heard about them, but we see them rarely. They are very old characters. They are more than 2,500 years old. The one of them is a girl, still young girl, and she's the good one, and the bad one, which from my eyes also is very, very ambivalent, is a Macedonian soldier from the army of Alexander the Great. And by an accident, what I do not want to spoil now, they got immortal. And so through these two characters, we tell a story, tell a little bit of story about wars, about cultures. They move from one country to the other country, and they tell from my point of view two stories. The one story is the story of eternality of love. The other story is about very conservative way of thinking. We are human, and we are not allowed to be God. So they are two opposites, very conservative and very radical. And the radical one is actually not a good one. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we have many themes and motives in the game, and also morally gray characters, which are also, I think, the more interesting ones than like a strict black or white character. I would also say that Judith is a little bit a morally gray character with how her methods when she is doing her investigation works. So yeah, thank you very much for this talk.
You're welcome.
Is there
Thank
anything
you.
you want to add?
I forgot a character I like also. It's a frog.
Yeah.
But I don't tell anything more about this frog.
Yeah, maybe if you look at our social media, you will see a little glimpse of him. Yeah, the frog is great. Okay, then thank you very much. It was a great talk. And now we are here with game design and narrative designer Kerstin.
Hi.
Do you want to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, sure. I'm Kerstin. I'm responsible for game design and narrative design alongside with Basti, who you will hear before or after me. We'll see. I studied originally computer science, and then computer science was a little bit too dry for me, so I studied game design and fell in love with narrative design, but also like design of game mechanics. So I always try to merge these two with each other.
Great. And what is your role in Hauma?
In Hauma, basically, Basti and I have a very similar role. We take the story that Aydin wrote and translate it into gameplay. And we write dialogues, we design puzzles. Yeah, basically what you do when you play the demo or later the game.
Okay, do you have you're saying that you're transforming the story from Aydin. So how is this process going? So you get the story segments, and how is your process in like transforming the story segment into like gameplay mechanics and dialogue?
Yeah, so what I try to do is I try to section the chapter. Like Aydin wrote the story and already divided it into chapters, which you will also see in the game. And what I try is to section what is happening, and then I try to find a problem that arcs over the whole of the chapter. And then I try to find multiple little problems that are in the way of solving, the overall problem. And then basically I go into detail. So how can Judith solve this? And what possibilities are there? And what can go wrong? Why do you have like what kind of diversions can happen, or where is an opportunity to include like drama or mystery, or even humor.
Great. So, mechanic-wise, what can we expect from Hauma? So we know it's a point-and-click adventure, and what kind of mechanics are there else for us to solve?
So we have like dialogues, puzzles. You talk a lot with characters. You cover truths about characters as well. But this part is mainly done with two things. We have a journal from Judith's grandfather, who also was, on the trail of this mystery that Judith tries to uncover. And also we have a mechanic we call the mind board. And in the mind board, we collect items, but also thoughts or ideas or memories or something that Judith witnessed. And by combining those, you can draw conclusions, or Judith draws conclusions to the problem at hand and to the mystery she's uncovering during the gameplay. And then, of course, we have puzzles in the various places. Some of the places in Munich that Aidin talked about, they really beg for there to be some, ancient puzzle to solve.
Yeah, I think collecting not only items like typical in point-and-click adventure, but also thoughts is like an extra layer in what you can do with like the point-and-click genre. I at least haven't seen anywhere else. I think that will be very interesting how this is going to play out in the game later on, how the deduction exactly works.
Yeah, it's detective work, right? You have this thing, and maybe you have this thought, and then you combine the two, and then you draw a conclusion.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really, really interesting. Else, about the characters. You're all writing dialogue for Judith. That's the biggest part, of course, because it's all from her perspective. But you're also writing other dialogue for other characters she interacts with. So how is this process going? Is this something that's rather easy for you to like feel into the characters, or like with the dialogue riddles, are you like going from a perspective where you're like, okay, I do the riddle first and then I write the dialogue, or are you like, I have to write the dialogue and then comes something up naturally?
What I like to do is that I create basically placeholder dialogues. So just something that is very functional and fits the problem or the puzzle or the situation. And then I rework and I put in, the soul, basically, like what character talks in what manner. I joined the team after Basti did. So for some characters, there's already, some rough guides from the demo or the prologue. And I really enjoy like this thing of giving the characters heart and soul. So I really enjoy writing Judith because she's basically 50 Shades of Angry. And, but also it's like a bit of a, she's down on her luck. She's a rundown detective, and sometimes we see this as a stereotype, but mostly those are men, right? You see this with noir style adventures. But also we have other characters, and the more you or I as a writer write with them, they start speaking like in their own voices. And this is when the fun starts, when you can hear them and you know what manner they talk. We have a character, she's called Dorothea, and she's a bit goth, but she's also studying criminal psychology, so it fits kind of, and she's over it all. And I love writing her because I can hear her voice while I write.
Yeah, that's great. We have really strong female character, also a strong female lead. I think that's also something that's not definitely good for the detective genre. As you said, there are many male characters who have like this typical gruff rundown characteristic, but to have like a female character, that's I think is pretty interesting. So, do you have a favorite character to write? You just mentioned Dorothea, so maybe.
Yeah, I guess she's definitely my favorite. I just love that she's over it all, but gets a bit drunk. She loses her cool a little bit, and then the fun starts.
Nice. Yeah, we had like a lag for a second, so but I got everything. But just sorry for the lag. Probably my internet. That's really bad. Okay. Thank you for this talk. Is there anything you want to add? You want to say to our community, or anything else?
Just curious what you think about Hauma in general, especially the puzzles and the characters, and the overall tone, because we have a lot of noir style, like these run down on your luck thing, but also there's a lot of sarcasm and humor where it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, we developers thrive on feedback, so feedback is always really appreciated. And yeah, thank you for the talk. That was nice, and see you. Okay. So, hello everyone. We are here with our other narrative and game designer, Basti.
Hello.
Can you introduce yourself to our community?
Hello, I'm Basti, and I'm probably one of the people who did not really study game design or IT like Senat or Kerstin did in the narrative game design group. I'm actually coming from media science and media educational background, and I quite crashed in the game industry. I've always been a gamer, and I've always been interested in narrative games. But really, I did not learn doing game design. I just do it, and for some weird reason, it works. So yeah, that's my role. You probably already heard from Kerstin. I'm the second part of the narrative team, doing pretty much the same thing that Kerstin also does. So taking the story from our author Aidin and putting it into interactive elements, like breaking it up, designing puzzles. The thing how narrative games pretty much work, like making it a stop and go principle. It has a direction, but there are things to do, and yeah, that's my role. So pretty much the same as Kerstin, and that's what I do as a freelancer. I used to work for game design studios, but since I think nearly 5 years now, I do this as a freelancer. And yeah, Hauma is a passion project of mine. I started working on Hauma with Senat even before it was called Hauma, even before it was called a lot of other names, and even before it actually had the storyline that it has today. We have a lot of different artwork and looks and feels. So this game has changed a lot, and I think I'm probably one of the persons who has been there from the start. I think I actually have even been there longer than the author has been there. So it's really like a passion project for me. And yeah, really cool to see now finally everything coming together. A great team coming together, working on this and bringing this very unique story into a visual novel adventure type gameplay.
So a fan from day one. That's definitely good. Yeah.
I'm
So-
number one. I'm first.
Yeah.
In a YouTube video from Hauma, I will probably be the person who wrote in there first, and it's the first comment in there, and it's really proud of it, despite nobody takes care, and it's completely unimportant.
No, that's great to hear that you are so passionate about the game. I think that's like the number one thing you should be if you're working on any kind of project. Like, have a passion for it. Then it's, I think people will notice if there's like heart in the game. Definitely. So you said you're working on the game since day one. So what has changed in this time? So can like from which point to now did the development change, or what were some points where like big break points in the game?
Oh well, I think the first points was trying to find the right author for the game, because the idea from Senat, the CEO of Senat Games, has always been, can we do a crime drama that takes place in Munich? I think the first title we had was Munich Crime, and we actually talked to a lot of, or Senat pretty much talked to a lot of different people, looking for people who would probably commit themselves to a project that might take a long time, because game development is long, especially if you're indie, and there are not so many funds yet, so it takes some time until you get this whole thing running. So there were a lot of different people attached, and they were all pretty great and nice, but I think for most of them it was really difficult to commit time to it. So it just didn't feel right all the time. Like, we really need somebody who makes a great story. And so I think the first real breaking point for me was when Senat said, "Oh, Basti, I have a really cool dude. Can you meet up with Aydin? He's from Iran, and he has some weird shit in his head. And probably we can just talk with him a little bit." And we met up in his apartment that he had back then, and I really vividly remember it, because it was really I think we really matched, the three of us. We immediately started brainstorming. He told me stories, and I had in my mind, okay, that's probably the game I could make, or the puzzle I could make out of this idea. And he had no ideas about puzzling. And and the first important thing is, if you work with authors that are not in the interactive domain, you need to realize if they are able to accept that we, as the interactive designers and game designers, will break the story apart. We will go in there and say, well, that's probably coming at a different time in the game. These are elements that the player can do in different orders, however he wants. And for a lot of authors that work in the movie industry, like Aydin did, for a lot of them it's difficult. I worked with several ones that just said, no, it needs to be in that order pretty much, and it needs to be, has to have like that dramaturgy and stuff like that. And Aydin was pretty open and said, okay, I have no idea, but if you say so, I trust you that this will work. And on the same time, I said to Aydin, I trust you that you have the story in your mind and you know how this works. And if I have a question about, I don't know, the backstory of this character, or want to know why this happened, I ask you. And he always had the answer. Everything is in his head. And so this worked really well. So that was for me probably the most, or the first really milestone, because then I had to be like, okay, I think this really works, because we have chemistry together. And it's weird, because like Senat is probably the IT game guy. I'm also a game guy, but pretty much more like from the educational background, probably a little bit difficult, a little bit different, hopefully not difficult. And Aydin came from the movie industry, and is actually in some way an immigrant writing about Munich, a town where I live. I didn't grow up in Munich, but I'm from Bavaria, so actually an Iranian person writing about stuff that I should know but don't, working together with like the two of us, that just was something that really appealed to me. Like, okay, that's something new. That's not how I regularly work with people, and that's refreshing. So that was probably the first milestone. the second milestone probably was when we get to know our first artist who is not in the team anymore, but he was working with us on the demo. We had a lot of different artists back then, and all of them were great too, but it was really, we had a really specific look in mind, and it was really difficult to find somebody who said, I think that's how we can do it. And that was also a long process until you say, okay, that's the artist we need. And that was Min, great artist. He did the demo. I think he later went on to do animation for Sony Animation Studios or something like that. So he was really like, his career skyrocketed, and we are happy for him really, because it's really great. But that was also important because he set the mood of the game, and it's adventure noir. Noir is a lot of atmosphere, of moods, of what are the looks, what is the lighting, how is the contrast. Everything is a little bit more like a dream. It's not so easy to do, and at the same time having a style that is producible in some way. So that was important because he came in and was able to show us something that works. So that was probably the second milestone for me. And the third milestone was when Sinat and me worked together on how can we technically produce the game in a very effective way that empowers me as an interactive narrative designer and as a game designer. And Sinat came with the suggestion to use Ink, which is actually pretty famous or pretty known scripting language for interactive narration, and said, we can probably use Ink, and I can probably produce the game in a game engine called Godot. And these two should work together pretty well. And this would empower you writing your stuff in Ink. And we don't have, it doesn't mean like you have to, because for example, in a lot of different projects where the programming team does not really interact with the author as well, or with the game designers as well. I had projects where I pretty much hand in Word documents. And I like, this is how, please program it that way. And it takes eons to get that through. And I don't have a problem with scripting. I can do a little bit of my own programming. Even if my programming skills are more on the write stuff in Python level. But still, it's enough to write interactive stories and program or script some mini games or interactive dialogues. And why should I write it in Word? It's stupid. And that was like, okay, Sinat really sees it the same way. He empowers me with, I'm doing it in Ink, writing it, sending it over to Sinat's place pretty much into the repository, and the next day, or like in pretty much instant, we can see the result in Godot. And I don't have to work in Godot because I don't care about all of the different game engine stuff. I care about the storyline and the puzzles. So that was the next milestone, pretty much the third one. And then the demo came out, and we realized, okay, this works. We have a style, we have the technique, and we have people that have a harmony together and that relate together. And the only thing we need is get funding now for this. We have the storyline in our heads, and then Sandem Games applied for funding for the German Games Fund. That helped a lot, I think. After that, there was money available, and we grew the team with a lot of, or with more people to finally produce the stuff, because a demo is easy, but producing a whole game is a different beast. And we pretty much did it, I think, pretty much the same way like we did like the first 2 years when we assembled the first key personnel in the game. We brought people in that I think have a great harmony together. They just, all of them are, I think, different. All of us are different in a way. We work at a lot of different places. Of course, many of us are in Germany, but we still have people in the States, in Great Britain, in Poland. So that we have Italians people with us, or an Italian person that I think currently lives in France. So it's a lot of different cultures and stuff, and I think it's really important for a game that tries also to show a lot of diversity, despite it playing just in one city, in a conservative city even. So I think it was I think that is what Hauma sets apart from other games for me, that we managed to continue producing that game in that manner, bringing in a lot of different people with a lot of different ideas, and all of this brain power put into one game. So I think that's really neat. A long answer for a short question. I'm sorry.
No
That
problem.
happens when people talk to me. And, if you talk to the other persons that work with me together, they will probably say, "This guy never stops talking once he started." I'm sorry for that.
No,
yeah.
No problem. Thank you for the insight.
Passion.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I talk so much.
Yeah, also you gave us a great insights through the development process. So I think like giving us a timeline from where we started and where it now is, like I think that's a really interesting process. And you mentioned Ink and Godot, so that's like the two things where Hauma, so we are writing the dialogue in Ink, and then it's going to the Godot engine. Where it's all put together, so we have a game in the end. I wanted to ask, you're a game designer, but also a narrative designer. So, what are the challenges from marrying these two aspects when you're designing like the game and the chapters?
What are the merits or the challenges? Sorry.
Both.
Both, pretty much. Well, I don't really think there's too much of a challenge, actually. There is challenge for some people that think that narration just works in a linear way. And I never thought of narration in a linear way for some weird reason. I played adventure games when I was 7 or 8 years old, which is really a long time ago, if you can tell how old I am. So I'm the one who bought Monkey Island on day one. And I have a signature from Ron Gilbert on that box. I really started early playing adventure games. I think the first game I really played through was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Lucasfilm adventure game, also really an old one. And I started scribbling down how they did it because I was interested in what happens when I do this. Because when I do this, then actually there should be a dead end. And then I realized, they made something else so that there's not a dead end in that thing. And so and that's what I started as a young, weird nerd, started looking at things during a time when nobody was interested in that, pretty much. And there was also no game studying. And when I started at university, there have not been, I think there was probably one game design school opened. So that's how old I am. And I think that's pretty much the reason why I always looked at stories in the term of what's possible. It's a network of things that happen, and not really in this more linear way of okay, you have the first act and this needs to happen and this needs to happen, this needs to happen, and which is true. It does need to have that structure in its whole, but it doesn't mean that you can have certain way of freedoms in there while still maintaining a direction for the storyline. And that I think that's why I don't really have a challenge to combine narration with game design, because most of my game design I do is breaking up stories. I'm probably putting a mini game in there once and then, but I'm not even the type of that does great mini games. My mini games are probably just regular, but I think I'm pretty good in breaking things up and realizing, okay, this I can play somewhere else, or I can do, I don't know, a dialogue puzzle there. This person could have a little bit more dialogue, or could bring backstory in here. And then the challenges are not so high. Of course, if you are a regular narrator, then the challenges are high because you need to think completely different, and probably need to make notes what happens when, and what happens when the player does this before that, does it still work, and so on, which for some weird reason I can keep in my head, pretty much. I think that's probably the reason why I do this now, because as I said, I never studied it. For some weird reason, I had well, I had not the talent probably, but like I had a hand for it. For some weird reason, it seems I can do this. So that's the challenges, and the merits pretty much is, well, you have a game afterwards, and a lot of people enjoy it, and it's interactive. And as I said, my actual background is more media education, and I still do media educational games, and a lot of them are narrative as well, because most educational content is narrated in some way. And when you actually are able to play a narration, I think it's more engaging. And because you are doing that stuff and you decide, and especially if you have things like meaningful choices in a game, like when you know, okay, gosh, when I do this, probably this might happen, and this could change the story in that direction. It engages you, and that's the reason why games have grown so much, because people are engaged. And I think that's the merit of combining these two. Not to say that movies and books are not engaging, but engaging in a different way. And I think that's what you can get out of it. People, in our case, being Judith and getting to know Judith, and also forming Judith in a little bit, and deciding for Judith, and taking part in this, and this is just doable if you do it interactively.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I like to do this, because I love enabling people making decisions and think about that decisions and learning from them also. That's the educational part. But at the same time, I still have some control in where I direct them. So in an educational sense, I still can give you the conclusion, and that balance, I think, between linear and non-linear. There's some balance in there. I love this. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. I think narrative and interactive storytelling is such an interesting concept too. And I think every game has like some narrative in it, even if it's like a narrative from the player. So it's like games where the narrative takes like a backstep. It's more like the player is like doing his narrative. For example, in, I don't know, Civilization, when you're like attacking in this order, this country, so you're telling like your story of how you like made your war or something. And the control thing, that you're like more controlling the narrative and giving like the player more a direction where he's going, or you're giving him more like a more direct message with it, which is like the educational part, I would say. I think that's really the interesting stuff about games, that you can like give the player a narrative in many ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, then I have one last question for you, and that's why point and click adventure? Why point and click adventure today? So I know you really love point and click adventures, and I think it's a really old genre at this point. So what makes it still great today? What makes it modern, or what are the merits of playing a point and click adventure today?
I think there are a lot of different answers to this, depending on where you come from. For example, probably the Senat, our IT guy, would probably say, well, it's not too difficult to program, because you just have more control over what's happening on the screen, and you don't take care about, I don't know, real-time stuff or physics stuff and so on. So that can be an answer. It's possible to produce them without hordes of programmers. At the same time, you need a lot of artists and good artists, which is probably also the answer from the visual point. I think they're visually really pleasing if you have good art. And I think we have found a really interesting style. It's like if you read visual novels as a book, it's also old school. Books have been around a lot, but still people are buying books, and probably also visual novel books. And they look at it and say, hey, it's beautiful. And I love this art. So that can be an answer. People just like the art, and probably like it more than, I don't know, photorealistic 3D adventure game. That can be good as well, but it's just different. So I think there's a space for this. I also think that I wouldn't call our game a real pure classic point and click adventure game, because it is inspired by a visual novel look. It's also inspired by the visual novel gameplay that have been popularized by Japanese adventure games, Japanese visual novels. So, for example, I know that Senate and me are huge fans of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Great game, making a game out of court decisions and court storylines, just playing in court pretty much all the time. But it has great art and has great characters, and so things like that. That's also something we bring in. We bring in the portrait style of people that talking to each other, where you go away from the location, but actually put the people in front and are presenting how the people are, what their traits are, making interactive decisions more prominent, which not all classic point and click adventures do. Like the regular Lucasfilm Sierra point and click adventures are more third person pixel style games, for example. So I think we bring something new to that genre as well. So that's probably so I wouldn't even say it's completely old school. We mix things up new. And the last answer probably for a lot of people, for me included, is if you are old, a little bit like me, who has gone over 40 years of age, you start to become really slow, and I'm really bad in playing current games. You can beat me anytime, probably. And it's really nice to have a game that's a little bit slower in pace sometimes, and really easy to do. Everybody can play them. All you need to do is having a mouse, or if you play it on mobile, you can play it by touchscreen. You can play it by gamepad pretty easily when it comes out for consoles, or if you play it on gamepad on other platforms. So it's a relaxed gameplay that everybody easily can understand, because it's point and click. It's not a lot of combination, but learning combinations of buttons that you probably need to remember. There's not something in like let's say like QuickTime events. We don't really do them. You can take your time. You can look at screens. If you want to look at them for half an hour because they're so beautiful, you can do that. Or if you want to go somewhere else, you can do that. So I think that's also reasons that these games still have a place. So many people are playing so many different games now. Nearly everybody plays games. And just because, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto is one of the biggest brands, doesn't mean every game needs to look like Grand Theft Auto. Like there's space for a lot of different looks and feels. And that's what we bring to the scene. I think we have something unique in every respect. Even in the mechanical game mechanics respect, we bring something new in, like the mind board that I think Kerstin already mentioned, which is like the inventory, but not only with items, but also with thoughts that you can combine, which is a new, or at least a unique approach. I know some other games did it a little bit like that, but it's not the classic point and clicks way of having an inventory. So there's new stuff, there's old stuff, there's new looks, there are old looks and old look and feels. And I think that's enough reason to do it, and hopefully a lot of people enjoy it.
Yeah, so it's a great mixture for mechanical wise, but also to let a narrative soak in, which is a thing you can deliver, I think, better in a point and click or a more laid back experience, like watching a screen and like also playing in your own pace. You don't have to keep the pace with somebody else or something, or you have to like keep the pace of the game, so you can decide your own pace and how long do you want to stare at this background, or how long do you want to like interact. Thank you very much, Basti. Is there anything you want to add?
I think Kerstin said everything or asked the right questions already. So the only thing I would probably say is I think I can speak for all of us when I say we all love when the game comes out, that we hope you enjoy the game. We'd love to see you playing the game. I'm really looking forward to probably some streamers playing the game. That's where I'll learn a lot. And I'm always really afraid when I see the first gamers playing your own stuff. But it's also great to see when people enjoy it. So if you enjoy it as much as we enjoy making it, I think it will be a great experience.
Great last word. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.